Hello, welcome back to the channel. And today we'll be doing a 2023 mock draft. I was going to do one of these a bit earlier, but I wanted to wait till we saw who left and who was in the combine still, and who entered and stayed in the draft. Obviously, we had a lot of big names, headlined by like Zach Edey, a few guys from Michigan State that all decided to stay in the 2023 NBA draft. So now we can, not have silly picks like picking Zach Edey in the second round. But that doesn't matter here. We're just going to be doing the lottery anyway. So not much change in that, but I just like to overall think the whole draft through. So I'll probably do a full draft or two going forward. But right now, it's just going to be the lottery. So we'll start off with the easiest pick in the draft, Wembanyama, Spurs. No real thoughts here. He's a generational talent. People were doing everything they could to get this guy. They want him super bad. So the fact that he's going to the Spurs, maybe not the best thing for a guy like me as a Pistons fan, but it's better than him going to like the Hornets in the East. But the Hornets here are number two. They will be taking probably Brandon Miller or Scoot Henderson. As of now, it's Brandon Miller, but I really think Scoot Henderson would do wonders for that team. A hyper athletic backcourt really, really help this team go forward. So I'm going to go for Scoot Henderson here. Great pairing with LaMelo Ball. Obviously, LaMelo Ball is out for a bit. Terry Rozier, I think they're trying to move, or the Suns are super interested in him. So if he can get out of that contract, kind of works. Terry Rozier, a good player, but a bit of a shot chucker tendency. So bringing Scoot Henderson to pair with LaMelo Ball, I think that's a great thing. Pick three, we do our first trade. I think this is something we could actually see go forward here. I'm going to trade with who was I going to trade with? The Raptors. Where is they? 13. So we pick three. They get back, pick 13. And after that, there's going to be also, I believe, a future first or like Siakam involved. I think Siakam would be a good fit out in um, out in Portland, definitely. So Siakam will be out there now, a member of the Blazers, and they'll be down a few picks, but we'll see how that goes going forward. So yeah, they move up for Brandon Miller. Good wing, kind of build your team around. I wanted the Pistons to get him a little bit bad testing wise, and combine wise. Obviously, he has a little bit going on off the court. So we'll see how that kind of plays everything out. But right now he's pegged to go number two, which I think is crazy because if Scoot Henderson's there at three, the Blazers phone is going to blow up. They could get sponsored by not a cable company, a phone company, and be like, "Yo, it's ringing off the hook." Look at this, things like this, and because people want Scoot like nobody's business. I could see the Pistons trading up to get Scoot, things like that. So that might be another scenario I do going forward. But now we have the Rockets here. They want to get out as well, but I think they're going to go for another wing type. And that's going to be Amen Thompson out of the Overtime Elite uh, team. I don't even know if that's just the team or if that's the league. I think it's Overtime Elite. It's just the league. I don't know what team they were on, but him and his brother Asur, kind of the next guys up on the pick thing here. Not much watched by me yet. I'm gonna get into their tape soon once we get out of the NBA Finals that week or two afterwards. Especially probably week or two, considering we might see a sweep or at least Nuggets in five here. So I'll be looking at that big time. But yeah, going forward, I really like his game. Combo guard, can even play a little bit of point guard. They're gonna get a big bodied up there. This is kind of assuming they don't get James Harden. If they get James Harden, they might go a bit more win now with a Jarace Walker type out of Houston going to Houston, which would be pretty cool. So we'll see how that turns out there. But the Pistons now are my Pistons. I would love to see him make a trade or two, but I think they'll stick and pick here, and I think the pick is Cam Whitmore, hyper athletic wing out of Villanova. Started off the year with a bit of injuries there. I've gotten his tape a bit more. Reminds me a lot of Miles Bridges. A hyper athletic wing, can work on the shooting a bit, but will score in bunches if needed. And seeing him cut off ball, getting to the rack, all that stuff is going to be absolutely unbelievable to watch. Seeing him do that with guys like Caden Ivey passing the ball. So looking forward now. The Magic, this is one where you're kind of like, what do they do? They really need a point guard, but I don't know if they're going to reach that far for the point guards in this draft, which there aren't really a lot of. Jalen Hood-Schifino is kind of like your first point guard type guy. I think they stick and pick with the best guy available. Go for the upside here with Asura Thompson, the other one of the twins, overtime elite as well. They played together, so a bit worse of a shooter, but as another athletic freak wing, giving the Magic a billion athletic wings to just figure out the point guard situation somehow, some way. So up next, the Pacers. They're another team looking for some point guard depth, some center depth, but that's not really what you got in this draft. I could see him maybe reaching for a Derek Lively type, pairing him with Miles Turner, who's kind of more of a power forward-ish thing, right? But I do think they stick here and pick Anthony Black, freshman out of Arkansas, good combo guard, big, tall, long. Pair him with Tyrese Halliburton, get a nice, good backcourt. Maybe move Matherin to the three, and that's a very good young 1, 2, 3 option there. So that would be really good. So um, up next, the Wizards pick 8. I think they go with Jarace Walker here. Um, he's a really good athletic defensive wing. Reminds me a lot of what Aaron Gordon's kind of turning into now. Pretty athletic, but more of a defensive absolute animal. And pairing him up with guys like a few of these guys really aren't very good defensive guys on the Wizards. So pairing a good defensive guy in there would really help make the team go better, in my opinion. So we look forward here now to the Jazz. They got a lot going on. They might be trading their pick, but I think this is where Jalen Hood-Schifino comes off the board. You can kind of play him as that point guard if needed, off ball if you want to roll Clarkson up there or Sexton. But I think Hood-Schifino is a no-brainer pick here out of Indiana, probably the best freshman we saw last year out of there. So good for them to add that there. And now we have the Mavericks. It says they need a point guard. I don't really know if they do. Luka Doncic really can kind of play that position, obviously. But I think a good option for these guys here, maybe Nick Smith, maybe Carson Wallace, but I think Taylor Hendricks, athletic wing, it's too much to pass up here. I really could see Derek Lively, but I think Taylor Hendricks is the pick. Athletic wing. I know that's the most common word said here is hyper athlete, super athlete, athletic wing, that whole thing. But super good here, shoots the three really well, especially projected. So we'll see how that all turns out. And up next, we have the Orlando Magic, and this is where the first point guard comes off the board, and I think it's Carson Wallace out of Kentucky. This kid really started to do a lot towards the end of the season. Kentucky started off slow, had a lot of expectations with Oscar Tshiebwe coming back, but Orlando finally helps address that point guard issue with Carson Wallace. I think they could maybe trade out of that pick, go for a guy like help the Suns do a quick reset with Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul coming into the Magic would be a great thing. Really help ground that team, bring in some veteran leadership in a really young locker room, and that could be something you like to see. Up next here, the Thunder. They got a billion picks. I could see them going this way, that way, any way they want. I think they get more of a traditional center and Derek Lively help shore that up because a lot of their centers, right, are these super skinny guys like Chet, which I think could almost be a wing stretch four, much better than a center typically. So he's more of a pick and roll center. Plays unbelievable defense. So most games he would have like more blocks and rebounds than points, which is pretty fun. So that's what I have for those guys. Now looking at the Blazers, what do the Blazers do? I think that they're going to go for a bit of a reach with a big guy here. And I think that Chris Murray would be a really good option here. 6'8" power forward, a bit older at 21. But when you're looking for what the Blazers are trying to do, it's win now, right? So you don't really care about age. That doesn't matter nearly as much. So I think that he would be a no-brainer pick there. Now looking at the Pelicans, they also need a point guard. They all need a point guard. Every team needs a point guard this year. But we're seeing a lot more guys be more ball dominant. Like when you got a guy like Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, do you need a guy that holds the ball in his hands for 5 or 6 seconds, more than that in the shot clock? No. So you look at a guy like, Grady Dick. Could he be a combo guard, thing like that? I think that's the answer. Obviously, they're looking for Zion to kind of figure it out. They could go for a center too, but as you see here, really weak center class, right? Even power forwards, who these guys can play center like Noah Clowney, but I think they go here for Grady Dick out of Kansas. Get him another shooter, another wing, super young kid, keep him in the South-ish region. But overall, here is our board. Obviously, we have the Raptors moving up 10 spots, giving up Siakam, kind of do a rebuild there, losing their head coach and top assistant to different teams. I think that this is a good time to reset. Might see Van Fleet on the market, going to the Suns, something like that. But I think there'll be a movement in the top three. I do not think the top three will go that order. Like by order, I mean teams picking. If Charlotte goes scoot, we'll probably see a little bit less movement. But if Brandon Miller ends up going two to the Hornets, then I think we're in for a absolute crazy scene. You could see the Pistons give up like Bogdanovich in their first round pick, 5 plus 31 to move up 2 spots. Something crazy like that. But that's all I have for this video. Let me know down below what you think about this draft. If there's guys you'd pick, I will get fully into it all. I'll probably do a bit more Piston specific content. I've got some guys I think the Pistons could look at, whether that be Cam Whitmore, Jerace Walker, Taylor Hendricks. I think a few of those guys will be there. Whether the Pistons should trade into pick 10 for Bogdanovich, something like that. So again, thank you all for watching, taking some time out of your day, and have a good Sunday night. We'll see how game 2 shakes out. It should come out right before that. So maybe drop those predictions as well. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you later. Peace.